and gentlemen, and welcome to QuantumCast. We are honored to have Professor Liyanage, a leading expert in analytical and inorganic chemistry. Thank you for joining us today, madam.
Thank you very much for inviting me for this very valuable event, and I'm very thankful to the Science Association of the Royal College of Royal College. So, as my intention is to help the younger generation, so this is a great opportunity for me to help the younger generation in giving some knowledge to them in science. So thank you very much once again for the opportunity for inviting me.
So to start off, ma'am, could you give us a brief overview of inorganic chemistry and analytical chemistry? And how is this sort of different to other parts of science or even other parts of chemistry?
In chemistry is a tool of all science subjects. As we all know, chemistry is you have to study chemistry in all science streams. So when you talk about chemistry has main areas. Those days, organic, inorganic and physical chemistry are the main three areas. But now chemistry has divided, it has many divisions. All these areas are divided, and especially this analytical chemistry is a main tool of chemistry to analyze any substance anywhere in your body, in the environment, in anywhere. Analytical chemistry is very useful. And also inorganic chemistry analytical chemistry is mainly used for all areas of chemistry, but especially when you study and when you practice inorganic chemistry, it is the basis of analysis and analytical chemistry. But analytical chemistry can be used in other areas also, in organic chemistry, organic substances and all. But studying and practicing inorganic chemistry and analytical chemistry is very interesting, and there are many opportunities to explore the world by using these techniques.
So, ma'am, what are the sort of techniques that we use in analytical chemistry to analyze these substances and compounds?
Right. Mainly in analytical chemistry, there are lots of tools and techniques that we can use. Starting from the very basic titrimetric methods, titrations. You may have used these titrimetric methods in your laboratories, in basic laboratories and all. Now, for example, if you want to analyze calcium and magnesium in water, if you want to see the hardness of water, just a simple thing, we can use very, very basic titrimetric methods. But analytical chemistry is now very advanced. It can be used to analyze substances simultaneously, and not only qualitatively but also quantitatively. In a very small amounts we can detect by using these analytical techniques now. The world of chemistry is very advanced, especially analytical chemistry.
Welcome to NCHS.
Studying has never felt this good.
It's not just studying.
This is what a lab should be. Whatever I want, whenever I need.
I don't miss a single class of it.
I'm flying to Australia next week.
Commence degree pathways at NCHS and continue in Australia, Malaysia or USA. Unlock your future.
So, ma'am, how does this sort of what are the effects this analytical chemistry has in other industries? So, other than that, does it also help in quality control in the pharmaceutical industry and maybe in the food industry?
Yes, of course. Not only pharmaceutical and food industries, many other industries, analytical chemistry is very important. As I told you, it can be used as a very simple basic technique to a very advanced technique like ICP-MS. ICP-MS means inductive coupled plasma mass spectrometry. So to quality control the pharmaceutical industry, we use these techniques because pharmaceuticals and food, we have to be very careful when we manufacture. It has to avoid toxins, and you have to give a very good quality product. So you can use these techniques to find out whether any impurities are there, and also whether these chemicals are there are in the safe region of for human consumption. Otherwise, even if they are in higher quantities, it is also not good for human beings. Not only human beings, even for living beings. So analytical techniques can be used to quantify most of the substances in those areas. Not only that, then not only those consumable in product manufacturing industries, it can be used in many paint industry, even for environmental analysis, many things. It is very important for human health. So you can use these analytical techniques for many purposes.
Well, ma'am, I understand that there is something called spectroscopy in analytical chemistry, right? Could you give us a brief overview of what that is for those who don't know, who are listening?
Right. Spectroscopy is, we have a lot of spectroscopic methods, right? Like in basic analytical chemistry, we use atomic absorption spectroscopy, and then it can go up to very high-end spectroscopic methods like mass spectroscopy. In those areas, it varies. The advancement can be varied. So if you say, for example, if you want to analyze some metals in a sample, in any sample means it can be water, it can be food, it can be a pharmaceutical sample, whatever. So we can use, say, some spectroscopic methods like atomic absorption spectroscopy to analyze them quantitatively, separately. And at the same time, now we can use very high advanced analytical techniques, spectroscopic techniques like ICP-MS, inductive coupled plasma mass spectrometry, to analyze them. One sample, analyze all the substances in one analysis, and quantitatively in a very small amounts it can be detected.
And also about these inorganic materials, right? How have they sort of impacted humanity, and what do you think are some promising materials that could push humanity even further?
Yes, inorganic material is again a very big area of chemistry. So material chemistry, we have a separate area now. So material chemistry again can be used in many industries. Even now people use paint industries, many industries, inorganic material is used. So inorganic chemistry plus analytical techniques gives a very good impact and very good result to all these products. Good quality product. If you want to produce a good quality product, these two techniques and these techniques, these two chemistry knowledge is very important, and we have to utilize those techniques, inorganic chemistry knowledge plus analytical tools, analytical skills we have to use.
So, ma'am, do you think that there's any inorganic materials that are proving to be really useful right now or could prove to be useful in the future?
Yes, inorganic materials, as I told you, it's a novel area. We people, scientists now they discover many inorganic materials. So it can be used in many areas like manufacturing, even vehicle manufacturing areas. They use these inorganic materials, and there are lots of new materials are coming up. Scientists are there, they research, and they do. They are trying to investigate many inorganic materials which can be used in many industries, and they have to be cheaper and they have to be reliable, and those things, everything has to be investigated.
So, ma'am, analytical chemistry is used in things like quality control, right? So, that means that the accuracy of these technologies has to be very high, right? So, what are the sort of methods that we use to make that accuracy good and not have inaccuracies that randomly pop up and mess up a lot of things?
Yes, a good question. To get a good accurate result, we have to have good maintenance of those equipments. So every time, anyway, we have to use standards. So standard also has to be used in the correct way, and the maintenance of the equipment is also very important. So that is why these high-end equipments are rare in some countries like Sri Lanka, because it is very, very difficult to maintain some high-end equipment because the cost involved. But at the same time, you have to have developed the skills also. Anybody if someone doesn't know about the equipment and has not used or trained on the equipment, they cannot use these high-end equipment. Not only high-end equipment, even to use a titration, to do a titration, you have to develop your skills. That also has to be done in a very accurate way, right? So your skills are very important. So you have to train on skills to analyze any sample using analytical techniques.
Welcome to NCHS.
Studying has never felt this good.
It's not just studying.
This is what a lab should be. Whatever I want, whenever I need.
I don't miss a single class of it.
I'm flying to Australia next week.
Commence degree pathways at NCHS and continue in Australia, Malaysia, or USA. Unlock your future.
So, ma'am, do you think that given the current skills in analytical chemistry that we have in Sri Lanka, do you think that it's worthwhile to bring this technology to Sri Lanka as well, that also costs money?
Yes. Even the schools, I know that they give some training to students who are doing chemistry, but due to the numbers and many things, but the universities are giving them hands-on experience. Even in chemistry departments, we give hands-on experience to each and every student who are coming, from the basic technique to the high-end techniques. And then the main thing is you all have to develop the skill, how to do a titration. You have to develop the skill, right? How to use these equipment, and how to do the titration even correctly. You have to do. And also you are asking about is it worth to bring down these techniques? Yes, to develop the industry, to develop the skills of our nation, we have to bring down those techniques to our country, and also train our people on those skills. So either they will retain in the country or they will go out of the country once they are trained, but that doesn't matter. We have to train our Sri Lankan people on those techniques, and also we have to use these techniques to compete with the world in the industrial side. And also for example, our environment is getting polluted now. Everybody is talking about it. For example, there are so many diseases coming up. Different scientists predict different reasons, but we have to identify and we have to prove that this is the cause. So for all these health concerns also, we have to bring down the technique, and we have to train them, and we have to do this analysis by ourselves. Otherwise, it is more costly to send them to other countries and get the analysis done, but that is only for one time. But if we train and if we get down the techniques and if we train people, we can do it by ourselves in our country, and the technique is with us there.
So, how exactly does analytical chemistry help in stopping pollution and basically avoiding a lot of health problems?
Right, good question. That is there is an example. There is a kidney disease. Is still this disease is there in North Central Province in Anuradhapura area. So everybody now believe that it is due to environment pollution, and we have to analyze the environment samples. Right, samples means the environment. We have to check whether the people environment is safe to live, and environment means air, water, and food, soil, everything. So we cannot just use simple techniques or basic techniques to analyze huge number of samples, because you have to do it in many areas and many samples. So these techniques can use the techniques which can be used for analyzing many samples. We have to introduce, and we have to check whether this environment is polluted or not.
So, given that a lot of this requires a lot of data, how exactly do analytical chemists work with this data, right? Like how can you tell us a bit about the data analysis aspect of your work?
Right. That is the main part of the analysis. Right. So from the beginning, anyway, from the collection of samples to analyze and to get the final result, you have to maintain lot of standard methods, right? So you cannot just predict anything by looking at only one sample. So sampling you have to do in the correct way, scientific way, right? Not only one sample, there should be many samples. If sample number is high, it is much better, right? And the way that the samples should be collected, all these things matter. And the way that those samples, for example, if you collect samples from Anuradhapura, and if you have to bring them to Colombo, you cannot just bring them. You have to keep them intact, and you have to bring them in the standard way to your laboratory. And analysis also, you have to store them in proper way. Otherwise, these contaminants may be changed. Our contaminants you cannot check. And analysis also has to be done in a very accurate way. Then once you get the results, you get lot of data. And data analysis is another subject. Subject means the other area that you have to learn as an analyst, right? So analyze the samples and analyze the data. Again, different skill. So it has to be done in a scientific way to predict anything correctly. Okay? So all scientists predict things, right? You cannot say this is exactly this one. They have to predict. Then somebody else also, or the same person, has to prove it, right? So that is how these analytical chemists work. So you need this to develop the skills from the collection of samples to analyze the data. Up to that level, different skills have to be developed.
So, ma'am, along with the human skills, do you think there has been any major technology that has helped in this data analysis? Or maybe even analytical chemistry as a whole? Has there been like a recent jump that has really propelled the industry forward?
Yes, data analysis, now there are so many easy ways to analyze, right? There are so many packages you can use to analyze data and predict the results. There are so many things. So then that is why you have to develop skills to use those packages also. And also now, not only packages, now there are some computer programs, like we call them as speciation programs are there. Once you get the results from the equipment and you feed them to the computer program, then when you run it, you get the you get the result. Now there are computer programs that you can analyze this data or this results up to the species level. Now, so for example, you say iron. Iron has two species, mainly exist in two species. There are lots of species, but iron, ferrous and ferric, iron 2+ and iron 3+, and copper cube plus and cupric, copper 1+ and 2+. So but some basic equipments give the total amount of those metals or those species. But when you feed the results, total amount of iron in sample, the computer program or speciation program gives you the amount of ferrous and the amount of ferric in that sample. So not only this equipment, but there are so many computer programs that you can use to analyze now very accurately, and the species level. Now say species, the concentration, the composition. Now ferrous can be in different composition, right? And also ferric can be in different compositions. So those ones we can get separately using computer programs. It is very well developed now. There are so many computer programs that can be used, and they are very well accepted, verified, everything. So scientifically accepted, you can use, and you can predict the exact amount of species and also the composition. Species, the compound, and the concentration you can now exactly predict.
Welcome to NCHS.
Studying has never felt this good.
It's not just studying.
This is what a lab should be. Whatever I want, whenever I need.
I don't miss a single class of it.
I'm flying to Australia next week.
Commence degree pathways at NCHS and continue in Australia, Malaysia or USA. Unlock your future.
So, ma'am, it seems that computers have sort of revolutionized analytical chemistry. Do you think that artificial intelligence might be the next step, or might help more or might be a big boost for analytical chemistry as a whole.
Yes, of course, but you have to develop skills to utilize the equipment. Otherwise, the artificial intelligence cannot predict the results coming out of the equipment, right? So you have to bring samples, you have to get samples, you have to do sampling, you have to prepare them and analyze them, and then you can use this type of computer analysis to predict them to a very detailed data. So as I told you that you can, when you get the total amount, if you want to get the species level and the compound level, you can go to that level by using this computer analysis.
So, ma'am, it seems that the analytical chemistry and inorganic materials are quite complicated, right? So, are there any major misconceptions that are there about these two types?
Anything is complicated if you don't know the subject and if you don't have the skill. So if a person who is trained and who has gained the skills, nothing is complicated and nothing is difficult for that type of person, and getting to that level is also not a difficult thing if you do or if you learn them correctly, and if you develop your skills correctly, it is not a difficult thing. So what I want to tell is when you do something, you have to do it in a very careful manner, right? And learn or develop your skills in a very detailed, up to very detailed. It will not anything will not be wasted, because if you are an analytical chemist, I think analytical thinking is, you develop analytical thinking. So it is very useful even for your day-to-day life, right? Say your day-to-day life is the most important thing. So you can, even when you have to cook something, your analytical knowledge can be used, because if you put too many salt, so everything has to be your analytical thinking comes there. And also, if there is any problem at home, so you think that your analytical mind is there, and you analyze it and you take it very simply. So that is why this analytical chemistry is very important for a person.
So, ma'am, do you have any advice you would give to a student who is trying to get into analytical chemistry or inorganic chemistry?
Yes, right. We have seen as a university lecturer for about more than 35 years. I have seen some students do cramming, but then you will not gain anything. You will just forget about everything after your exams, even school children now. You have to do and you have to think what you are doing, right? When you learn something, even in a laboratory or even in a classroom, even at home, even in your garden, you think what you are doing very carefully, right? So, and you do it and you get the experience and develop your skills thoroughly. Then nothing will be difficult for you all, right? So what I want to tell our future generation, right? Just don't learn for the sake of learning, right? You do it, right? We are giving you we are facilitators. We will give you the basic things, but you have to develop. Anyway, you have to go beyond us. That is, as our wish is our future generation should go beyond us, and they have to find many things, they have to explore many things in the world, and you have to win the world. So to do that, you're not only cramming, right? I don't like cramming anyway. I haven't done it. That is that is one thing I must tell you. So you have to develop your skills, and you have to think. You have to develop your analytical thinking, and why this is happening, and why this color is coming, and why this amount is there, and with what it has to be there. So I have to check what are the other things. So likewise, you have to think, and you have to develop your analytical thinking. Then you can win the world. Win the world means not only your education, but your other things also. The whole life, you can enjoy the whole life.
So, ma'am, it seems that cramming has sort of detrimental to not only the students' marks but also their well-being, right? Because it's a lot of stress on them last minute. Do you have any other study techniques perhaps that you would recommend instead of cramming?
Yes, the thing is, that is what I told you. When you listen to something, you think about it, and you keep it. You keep it in your mind. It is not not only cramming your notes. It will not help you, for a longer period. Just you can put down small notes, but you think why it is happening, and why this is happening, and why and what. When you are learning, and then you don't need to cram, and cramming will not be helpful. And actually, most of the time, you have to develop your analytical thinking, your mathematics knowledge, right? And you have to. Then you can avoid cramming at the last minute. Not at the last minute anyway. Cramming at the last minute will not help you, and you have to learn throughout. Throughout means I'm not recommending you to be in a room and cramming the whole day, but get them learn them while you are get into you while you are learning. Then it will not lose. You will not lose it. I can still remember what I learned in my A-levels, what I learned in my O-levels. Right? So likewise, you can be a happy person, not only be in cramming in a place and memorizing them and answering the questions. These are lifelong learning, and you can use them in your whole life.
So, ma'am, it seems that you really like analytical chemistry, right, and inorganic chemistry. You have dedicated so much of your life to it, and truly shows because of how much knowledge you have. What sort of inspired you to start this journey of going and trying to learn and understand analytical chemistry and inorganic chemistry?
Yes, when I was doing my honors degree research project, I really wanted to do some analytical techniques, use some analytical techniques and do some analysis. What I did was, I used some drugs, that is traditional drugs, and I wanted to analyze them, and I analyzed them. And then I wanted to analyze some environment samples. There was a newly explored fertilizer deposit. So I analyzed them using basic techniques those days. But when I went to do my PhD, I did my PhD, and that was basically analytical chemistry, and I had 8 chapters. Right, first one is the introduction, final one is the summary, conclusion. The other 6 chapters are different techniques of analytical chemistry. So that I really wanted to use separate or different techniques in analytical chemistry. Actually, that using that knowledge, that skill, I analyze, after coming back, even I analyze human samples, environment samples, food samples, food, whatever, pharmaceuticals, anything I can analyze. So, and that is my analytical chemistry life. But I really like to take challenges. Right. After being promoted to the senior professor, I was asked to I was doing some administration, and I was given a chance to be the director of one of the institutes in Sri Lanka. So then I trained so many people in analytical chemistry there, and they got their PhDs, and then I was asked to take up the UGC Vice Chairman. So those are different jobs, right? Then again I was appointed as the Vice Chancellor of one of the universities, and then they have sent me as the ambassador in the biggest country in the world. 6 countries I have been the ambassador for 3 years, and all these are, I think, everything I got the courage to face those challenges due to my analytical thinking, right? So they are completely different jobs. So I really enjoy. I think everything I got from my analytical chemistry training.
Welcome to NCHS.
Studying has never felt this good.
It's not just studying.
This is what a lab should be. Whatever I want, whenever I need.
I don't miss a single class of it.
I'm flying to Australia next week.
Commence degree pathways at NCHS and continue in Australia, Malaysia or USA. Unlock your future.
So ma'am, it seems that analytical chemistry can really help, right? Like just not only the chemistry part, but the analysis that helps you in your day-to-day life. What would you say to someone who is maybe in middle school or upper school who's trying to learn about analytical chemistry but isn't in a university or anything?
Yes. Unfortunately, in Sri Lanka, you cannot select your future area in a state university level. When you are in the school, the state university, you are selected by the UGC to go in this way and that way. But now there are so many ways that you can get your what you like. Right, even in Sri Lanka. So what I want to tell you all, do whatever you want. Right? You do what not your parents want, and also your friends or whatever the others want, but do whatever you want. And don't hurt the parents, but if your parents want you to become a doctor, yes, you can be a doctor, right? But at the same time, you can do your own if you would like to be a chemist, you can still get that training also. And for example, when I was schooling, my parents wanted me to become a doctor. So I thought, I did chemistry, physics, zoology and pure maths for my A levels. Right? So I got the entrance to applied science faculty. I thought, okay, I will get the doctor. Now my parents want to be a doctor, no? So doctor anyway, you can be a doctor by getting a PhD, right? So then I think I'm so happy that I took that decision. I was selected to do medicine in Russia those days, but I selected to do science, and then I was selected to do chemistry special, and I went on that line. I think I'm really happy. My parents are really happy. Anyway, so you can be a happy person. Not only you, your other people, your parents, your sisters, brothers, everybody can be happy. Right? So select your own way of doing, but I'm not telling that don't do mischievous things, but right, what you like. Whether you like to do another area, you do it, but you have to do it in a proper way. Develop all the skills and go to the top of that line. Then you will be happy. Right? Everything we do to be happy. So that is what I want to tell you, and also help the others, your parallel people and especially your younger people. Help what you learn and what you get. So I accepted your invitation to give my experience and also help our younger generation in the chemistry area. So if anybody wants to have just a talk to me or any discussion, I'm really happy to give anything to them.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure you've inspired an entire new generation of analytical chemists and inorganic chemists. And that concludes this episode of QuantumCast. Thank you.
So thank you very much for the opportunity. I hope you learn at least a bit. So that is my satisfaction to give you something that I experienced and I learned. So thank you very much once again, the Science Association of Royal College. So thank you.
Thank you, madam.